The Retribution screamed under a direct hegemony plasma strike. Captain Elena Vasquez gripped her armrest as the deck pitched hard to port. A yellow distress light blinked on her primary console. It flashed twice, skipped a beat, and flashed again. Sparks showered from the overhead vents. The smell of burning insulation filled the air. No panic, no shaking, no hesitation. She watched the main tactical screen. The Hegemony scout cruiser filled the void ahead, charging its forward railguns for another hit. They thought she was dead in the water. They thought they had a prize. You think we're cargo? You're about to find out exactly what this ship was built to hunt. Stay close. 2 hours earlier, the ship had power to spare. Vasquez walked the length of the main engineering bay. Her crew worked in absolute focused silence. They dragged thick power cables across the steel grating. They hooked the auxiliary reactors straight into the cargo bay shielding. It was a massive risk. The Retribution was dressed up as a heavy freighter, a bait ship. They needed the Hegemony to attack them first. If the enemy scanned them too close, the illusion would break. Seal the lower decks, Vasquez ordered. Drain the life support on the bottom levels. Draining now, the chief engineer replied. The lights dimmed. The air grew cold. The ship went into a deep, simulated coma. The trap was set. Vasquez returned to the bridge and strapped into her chair. She watched the long-range sensors sweep the dark. Now the trap was springing. Admiral Vexthak stood on his silver command deck. He smoothed his clean uniform. His mandibles clicked in a slow, arrogant rhythm. He looked at the human vessel on his screen. It was ugly. It was built like a flying brick, all sharp angles and exposed piping. Hail them again, Vexthak ordered. His voice carried a mocking sneer. Tell the humans we will accept their surrender if they power down their remaining life support. His communications officer relayed the message. Silence answered them. They are stubborn, Vexthak said. Launch the first fighter wing. Let the drones chew on their armor. A swarm of sleek fighters shot out of the Hegemony cruiser. They crossed the distance in seconds. They descended on the Retribution like a cloud of angry insects. Back on the human ship, the warning sirens wailed. Incoming fighter wing, the tactical officer called out. They are targeting our communication arrays. Hold steady, Vasquez said. Let them hit us. The fighters opened fire. Small plasma bursts peppered the outer hull. The ship violently shook. Metal groaned under the repeated impacts. The scent of ozone flooded the bridge. Vasquez did not move. She needed the main cruiser closer. Damage report, she said. We lost the primary comms dish, the engineer replied. Secondary armor on the upper ridge is holding. They are just scratching the paint. Vexthak watched the fighters do their work. The human ship took the hits. It didn't spin out. It just absorbed the energy. He frowned. That was strange. A standard freighter should have routed emergency power to its shields. This ship just sat there and took the beating. Call the fighters back, Vexthak commanded. They are wasting time. Prepare the boarding pods. We will take the cargo by force. Heavy boarding torpedoes launched from the Hegemony cruiser. They flared bright blue against the dark of space. They slammed into the port side of the Retribution. The magnetic clamps locked on. The breaching charges blew open the outer airlocks. Vasquez watched the red breach indicators light up on her board. They are in Cargo Bay 4, the tactical officer said. Send the intercept team, Vasquez ordered. Down in the pitch-black cargo bay, a platoon of Hegemony shock troops stepped through the breached airlock. They raised their thermal rifles. They expected fleeing crew members. They expected terrified civilians. They found the United Earth Space Force heavy infantry. The human Marines dropped from the ceiling walkways. They did not shout. They did not offer surrender. They opened fire with heavy kinetic shotguns. The Hegemony armor shattered under the close-range impacts. The shock troops fell back. They fired blindly into the dark. The human Marines moved with ruthless precision. They cleared the bay in less than 3 minutes. Vexthak watched the life signs of his boarding party vanish from his screen. One by one, the signals went flat. He gripped the edge of his console. His mandibles flared in sudden anger. "They have soldiers on board," Vexthak snarled. "They are not civilians. Move us in. Range to 50 kilometers. I want to see their hull crack under the main guns. I will turn them to dust." The sleek Hegemony cruiser fired its primary drives. It closed the distance quickly. The void between the two ships shrank. The distance closed to the 50-kilometer mark. Vasquez watched the distance marker tick down. The yellow distress light kept blinking its uneven rhythm. She let the enemy ship fill her entire screen. "Captain, they are entering the outer kill zone," Tactical reported. "Wait," Vasquez said. The cruiser fired its port batteries. A heavy beam of light smashed into the Retribution. The impact threw Vasquez against her harness. The lights flickered and died, leaving the bridge bathed in the red glow of emergency backups. "Kinetic shielding in Cargo Bay 4 absorbed the blast," the engineer shouted over the alarms. "We are holding together. Barely. The structural integrity is dropping." "Hold the disguise," Vasquez ordered. "Do not power the main arrays yet. Let them think they are winning." Vexthak leaned forward in his command chair. He wanted to watch the humans die. The freighter was heavily armored, but it was just a matter of time. "Prime the main railgun," he ordered. "Target their bridge, end this." The cruiser's massive front weapon began to glow blue. It gathered power from the ship's core. The hum of the weapon vibrated through space, translating into static on the human comms. Vasquez watched the energy spike on her monitors. The Hegemony cruiser was fully committed. It had diverted all its power to the forward gun. Its flank shields were down. Its engines were idling to feed the weapon. It was perfectly still. "Now," Vasquez said. The Retribution dropped its disguise. The yellow distress light died. A red targeting strobe slashed across the bridge. The heavy cargo doors blew outward into space. They did not hold freight. They held weapons. Massive point defense arrays snapped into position. They locked onto the Hegemony cruiser. The human ship fired. It was not a laser. It was not a kinetic slug. It was a weaponized gravity well projector. 4 dense spheres of distorted physics slammed into the space around Vexthak's ship. The Hegemony cruiser stopped dead. The space around it folded inward. Vexthak slammed into his console as the artificial gravity failed. The silver hull of his proud ship shrieked. The metal buckled under the impossible pressure. The main railgun lost its charge, the energy bleeding uselessly into the void. "Evasive maneuvers," Vexthak yelled. His mocking tone was gone. His voice was a high, stuttering gasp. "Engines are offline," his pilot screamed. "The space around us is locked." The Retribution fired again. Targeted EMP bursts slammed into the cruiser's engine blocks. The Hegemony ship went completely dark. It hung in the gravity well, a helpless toy caught in a vise. Vasquez opened a direct channel. She did not ask for a visual. She let her voice fill the dark, panicked Hegemony bridge. "Admiral Vexthak," Vasquez said, "you studied our surrender records, but you forgot to study our war records." Vexthak stared at the speaker. His ship was being crushed. The humans hadn't even fired a lethal shot yet. They just held him there. They showed him total, absolute dominance. He could not fight. He could not run. His pristine ship was a crumpled can. "We surrender," Vexthak choked out. Vasquez cut the comms. She looked at the tactical map. The Hegemony cruiser was bent, its sleek lines ruined forever. It hung in the trap, helpless. "Disengage the forward wells," Vasquez ordered. "Leave them a path out." The crushing pressure released. The Hegemony cruiser listed to one side. It did not power up its weapons. It turned, slow and crippled, and fired its emergency thrusters. Vexthak fled into the deep black. The bridge of the Retribution fell quiet. The crew returned to their standard stations. The ship secured its arrays and closed its heavy blast doors. Vasquez stood up from her chair. She walked to the main viewport. The void was empty again. She wiped a smudge of grease off the reinforced glass.